Next, we take a closer look at our municipalities with Julie Thompson. Today, we're talking about Plymouth.
Hi, today on A Closer Look, we're going to look at the Plymouth 911 Dispatch Center, which has been incorporated into the Plymouth County Communication Center. And I'm really happy today to be joined by Sheriff Joe McDonald.
Thank you,
And
Julie.
who did you bring with you today to explain this to me?
We're very lucky today. I have brought with me our Assistant Deputy Superintendent in charge of that communications center, David Acevich.
Welcome. Welcome to both of you. Thank you for
Julie.
joining us.
Appreciate that.
This is a fascinating turn of events that happened for the town. It was a really great one. So back in June, the end of June of 2023, the decision had been made and the Plymouth 911 Center moved into the same building and the same facilities as your communication center.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
There had been discussions for quite some time. There's an old saying that all politics are local. I think Tip O'Neill said that. Mm-hmm. And this is no exception. We build relationships. The fire chief, Neil Foley, Dana Flynn, the police chief, we're mutual friends. We talk, we're colleagues. And we had come to a conclusion that wouldn't it be a good thing if we could combine forces to deal with these issues. So there was a lot of talk about this, a lot of planning that went into this, and as you correctly point out, over the summer, June 30th, we were able to put that together and turn the key. So what ended up happening was the 911 center that Plymouth Police had in their headquarters was able to move physically over to our communications center. We did modifications, obviously.
Sure.
And we've been running it since then, and things have gone very well.
Beautiful. So before that happened, what was your communication center at the county level used for?
Well, we always used it for our own dispatching. When we would send our BCI, Bureau of Criminal Investigation vehicles, out to the various towns throughout Plymouth County, and sometimes out of the county. We also had, and David can speak perhaps more eloquently to this than I, but we would coordinate mutual aid for fire throughout the whole county, all 27 communities. And we also did something called CMED, County Medical Emergency Dispatch.
Okay.
And what that did is provided communications between ambulances and the hospitals to which they would be routed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So mutual aid, for anyone who doesn't really understand the whole concept of that, which is so important, can you describe what is mutual aid?
So mutual aid, Julie, for the county is when an outside agency, one of the 27 communities in our county, call into us over our mutual aid Channel 4, which we own and operate, and what they do is they request there may be a working fire.
Yep.
They come over, they'll basically say, well, say the town of Halifax. Halifax will say they have a working fire, say they're 123 Main Street,
Yep.
and they'll give us a district, which enables us to find what apparatus we need to send.
Oh, okay.
And in return, what we'll do is we'll announce that they, over our channel, mutual aid Channel 4, that there's a working fire in the town of Halifax, 123 Main Street, mutual aid Channel 1's been assigned. Because there's 3 mutual aid channels that operate that the fire chiefs and the fire communities use as their mutual aid channels so they can do communications with all the apparatus that's on scene. So what we do is we go to what's a run card. Now a run card is everything that shows what the apparatus is going to be sent for that particular district in that town. And we send all the apparatus, whether or not it's an engine, a ladder, a tower, or an ambulance.
Okay.
And we send that off and we reiterate to the towns, can you provide, Plymouth County Control to Hanson Fire?
Okay,
Can you
right.
send an apparatus?
So it's really backup. You're coordinating the equipment that needs to go to the event that's happening. But
Correct.
you also have to make sure that the towns that you've pulled anything from have backup.
They have backup too. A lot of times what will happen is we'll have to provide station coverage for them
Okay.
because they utilized everything they had to come to the fire.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's what mutual aid is. So you've been doing that all along at your communications center.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you've added in, so you're still doing that, and you've added in the component of having all the Plymouth 911 calls come in.
Correct, yeah.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. So obviously seconds count, and I know that we all hear it that 10 seconds can make the difference. What is the actual time difference now that you've had a year to kind of, or not quite a year, but you've had 9 months or so to look at this between before when 911s were at the Plymouth Police Department and where they are now?
So what in return, what we've done for the town of Plymouth is before the call would come into their PD,
Yeah.
911 call. In return, what they would do is they would transfer it to the fire station,
Yep.
who has to send it to Brewster, which is Brewster Ambulance, which is a privatized ambulance service for the town of Plymouth.
Yep.
So in return, that had a time of sometimes of over 2 minutes. In return, what has happened is now we get it right there at our 911 center. And what happens here is we have, say, a call taker with 2 officers that are on PD and 2 officers on fire.
Yeah.
The call taker takes that call. The other 4 officers that are in place will silent monitor that call. In return, they have what's the address and everything that they need in the chief complaint. They have what's called the software Red MX, which shows exactly what they need to dispatch. And they'll come over the air and they'll just broadcast what's needed. And in most cases, Julie, we have that, no more than 68 seconds. So the cutoff time has been, what it's doing is huge.
So is that when they're dispatched or when they actually arrive?
No, when they're dispatched.
Okay.
They're dispatched within 68 seconds.
And they're dispatched obviously from the nearest possible location of wherever the event is taking place.
Correct. So
Okay.
there's 7 firehouses in the town of Plymouth,
Right.
and there's an ambulance stationed at every station. So geographically, we pick the one that's closest to the
Sure.
address.
Okay.
So the response time's less.
Yeah, and it's interesting to note, Plymouth is the largest community in the Commonwealth
Yeah.
geographically.
Yes.
So it can be, historically it's been a challenge. It continues to be, but we've been able to cut that response time in half.
Which is amazing. Okay. How many calls per day on average come into the 911 center?
So right now, the 6 months that we've been into it, we've had 6,515 ambulance calls.
Wow.
So on any given day, Julie, can be different. Sometimes you can't really predict what's going to happen. So getting to staffing levels, we have to have the officers in place
Right.
to, we take a storm like we had yesterday.
Yeah.
We put extra coverage on
Sure.
just so we can, make sure that all the calls are getting out on a timely manner, and we're critically not missing any type of calls whatsoever.
And so you can predict things that when there's going to be a weather event, there's going to be a big parade, there's going to be a big, something tells you, okay, we might get more 911 calls. But what if something happens that you did not predict? A gas leak, a terrorist, something unpredictable that could be a large-scale event that you're going to have a lot of people calling in. What do you do in that case?
So in that case, Julie, what happens is we have our run cards which determine, what we would send. And with that being said, a lot of chiefs in the communities have, did extended run cards to accommodate if there was, like, say, a mass shooting or something like that, where they actually have run cards that are dedicated to what apparatus and what personnel will be needed to get to that scene.
In the event
Yeah.
that something happens.
Yeah.
So if I'm hearing you right, all the towns within the county kind of have this already planned? Like, if something happens, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah. So with our mutual aid Channel 4, once we announce that particular incident is happening, everybody in the whole county is hearing that at all their fire stations and everything.
Okay.
And we have our run cards actually on what's called the cloud on the internet,
yep.
and they can actually see if they're going to be responding. That was implemented a few years back with a lot of work and everything, but it's been a great access.
So everyone knows who's going to be responding to whatever this event was.
Correct.
Okay, that's wonderful. If you'd like to see more of this interview, please visit the Local Scene Government Services on YouTube. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button before you go. We'll see you next time.